This is the week when everybody celebrates Madras Day. Is it Madras Day or is it Chennai Day? Is it Madras or is it Chennai? How did these two names come about? For that matter, is August 22nd really the day on which this city was founded? Did the British really found this city? These are all questions that we need to ask ourselves, and let us see whether we can find the answers in this presentation. It was in 1639 that an Englishman came down from Machilipatnam to the south. He was looking for a place from where the British could have a trading outpost, where they could purchase cloth from the neighborhood, put it into ships and export it to England and other countries. The English had tried to do it at Machilipatnam, but they had not succeeded, and they had decided to seek their fortunes further south. Having come over here with a translator or an interpreter or a dubash, and his name was Beri Timmappa, Francis Day met with the Nayak of Poonamalli, Damarla Ayyappa Nayak. And the Nayak was very kind to give the British a grant of 2 miles of land, which as per the grant was already known as Madras Patnam, because the document very clearly says in our town of Madras Patnam. The Nayak is saying in our town of Madras Patnam, which therefore means that there was a village over here by that name even before the British came here. The British then built their fort of Fort St. George, and the town that grew around it got the name of Madras, and for some strange reason it was always referred to as Madras in English and as Chennapatnam or Chennapuri in Tamil and Telugu. As to why these two names has remained a mystery for a very long period of time. Next question, what was the date of the grant that gave the British Madras? It says July 22nd. It does not say August 22nd at all. But in 1913, when Henry Davison Love was writing the book Vestiges of Old Madras, he did a lot of research and he found out that on July 22nd, Francis Day was not even in this area. He was still in Machilipatnam. And therefore, Love concluded that the document was dated erroneously and the correct date should have been August 22nd. It is entirely on the basis of Love's surmise that we today claim that Madras was founded on August 22nd. Was it really founded by the British? That again is a question that we need to ask ourselves. For that matter, we do know that this region has been continuously inhabited from Paleolithic times. In the 19th century, Robert Bruce Foote conducted excavations in Pallavaram and later in Egmore, in Halls Road, and found there were remnants of that era in Pallavaram and there were remnants of the Iron Age in Egmore. In fact, Pallavaram holds the record for being the oldest Paleolithic settlement to have been discovered in the whole of Asia. It is today that space is today maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India, and so that is how old this region is. After the Paleolithic Age and the Iron Age comes the Sangam era from the 6th century BC to the 3rd century CE. During that time, we know that this region was ruled over by a tribe known as the Kurumbas, and they had their capital in a place known as Pural, which we recognize today more for the vast lake that exists there and the prison that stands nearby. Pural was their headquarters, and they administered the entire surroundings by dividing it into districts that were known as kotams, and some of the kotams have survived even today in name. Ikaditangal, Puliyur, Madavaram, Egmore, these are all names that come to us from the time of the Kurumbas. Then we have had a long reign of dynasties, Pallavas, Cholas, the Vijayanagar rulers, the Nayaks, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British, and so on and so forth. We also have the poetry of the Sangam era. We then have the poetry of the Tevaram and the Tiruvachakam and the Nalayara Divya Prabandham of the Vaishnavites. From the Tevaram and the Nalayara Divya Prabandham, we do know that several villages that we today recognize as part of Chennai existed during that time. Some of the names are Thirumayilai, Thiruvotriyur, Tirunindravur, Tirumalisai, Tirunirmalai, Tiruvallikeni, and so on and so forth. A long list. And so therefore, these villages have existed from that time onwards. Sadly, there is no vestige or no record of a place called Madras or a place called Chennai in anything that precedes the arrival of the British. But yes, these regions were populated and inhabited by people before the British came. What then of the names Madras and Chennai? From the record of the Nayak, we know that Madrasapatnam was a name that existed even earlier. But from the 19th and the 20th centuries, historians began to speculate on how this name could have come about, and all kinds of stories have come out. Some claim that there was a Portuguese family called the Medeiros family. There was another Portuguese family called the Madra family, and they say that the name Madras comes from these people. Some say that there was a fisherman's village by the beach. The headman was called Madarasan, and therefore it became Madarasapatnam. All of these are just speculations. And then we have Chennapatnam. Where did Chennai come from? That has even less records. Some people say that Damarla Ayyappa Nayak's father was Chennappa Nayaka. But historians have also said that in that lineage of those Nayak, there was no Chennappa Nayaka at all. But we do know that in 1640, when Beri Timmappa built a temple in what we today recognize as Georgetown, he called the deity there Chenna Kesava Perumal. The deity and the twin temple to it, Chennamallishwara Swami, today stand at Devarajamudali Street, and it is believed that Chenna Kesava Perumal Patnam eventually became Chennapatnam. Lots of people say that Madras is an English name and Chennai is a Tamil name. But in recent years, a 14th century inscription has come to light which lists Vijayanagar territories over here, and that has the names Neelangarayan Patnam, Pudupatnam, Madarasan Patnam. Therefore, is the name Madras as old as the 14th century or even earlier? We don't know. But what is very clear is that Madras is not an English name, it was an Indian name. Secondly, people say that Chennai is a Tamil name. If the name came from Chennappa Nayaka, it is very likely that it was a Telugu word. What we, however, need to accept is that from 1996, the official name of the city has changed from Madras to Chennai, and we need to live with that. And that is as good a name as any, whether Madras or Chennai. This city deserves to be celebrated because it has given us life, it has given our children future. Lots of people, almost 1 crore of people live over here and consider this their home. Now the question, should we celebrate August 22nd? How do we know whether this was the date on which Madras was founded? Well, we celebrate Father's Day, we celebrate Mother's Day, we never question whose father or which mother or whose mother was born on this day, why is this date celebrated? Similarly, let's not question why, but let us accept the fact that this is a city that is worthy of celebration. Let us celebrate it. Thank you.